Welcome to number 1 for arithmetic sequences. This is 11.3 with explicit formula. So here we have, at the beginning of an exercise program, Julie rides her bike for 18 minutes. Each week she increases her time by 5 minutes. This can help us figure out what our A1 is equal to and what our D value is equal to. When we are doing arithmetic sequences, we are always looking for these two things before we continue with anything else. So A1 here is 18 minutes because it says at the beginning of our exercise program, and then D is her increase. Her increase is by 5, which is positive because it's going up. So those are our first two things that we're looking for. The second thing that this question is asking is part A. Part A is asking to write the explicit formula for an arithmetic sequence. Let's remind ourselves what the explicit formula is. It is A of n is equal to A of 1 plus n minus 1 times D. This is a formula that you have to memorize yourself. We can plug in everything that we know into this formula. So we can write, so this is A of n is equal to 18 plus n minus 1 times D, which is 5. All we did was replace what we know here. And now for part 2, or part B, it's simplify the explicit formula. To simplify the explicit formula, we're going to take what we've already created, which is A of n equals 18 plus n minus 1 times 5. And we're going to distribute the 5. The distribution is the part where they're asking you to simplify. To simplify here, we have 18 plus 5 times n, which is 5n, 5 times negative 1, which is negative 5. And then we're going to add our like terms. We have 5n plus 13. 15 minus 5 is 13. 18 minus 5 is 13. And that is our simplified version of this formula. And we can just write that in for this question. On the test, I would like to see all of the work that you have for this stuff to make it simplified. For part C is always, always, always going to be n is equal to the number that is given. It always will be that way. But as a reminder to ourselves, we can kind of think about it as this. We know that all of A of n is supposed to equal to the time that we have. So this whole thing should equal time. But n itself is the term in the sequence. So this is the number of weeks according to this program. Number in the sequence. For us, this is in weeks. So all we need to do here is plug in to our n value the 12. So we have A of 12 is equal to 5 times 12 because we're replacing the n with the 12 plus 13. 5 times 12 is 60 plus 13 is 73. So we should probably say it as A of 12 is equal to 73. 73 being minutes at 12 weeks. And now how many weeks will it take for her to ride, for her riding time to be 98 minutes? For part D will always be the number given, so in this case would be 98, is equal to the simplified explicit formula, which is 5n plus 13. And now we solve for n. When we solve for n here, we're going to subtract 13 on both sides. We get 85 is equal to 5n. Then we're going to divide 5 on both sides to get n by itself. n is equal to 17. This is saying a of 17, so 17 weeks, is equal to 98 minutes. On the test, you will show me all of this work, and you will tell me n is equal to 17, or, for a better answer, I would like a of 17 is equal to 98. All right, let's try another one for number 3. Number 3 is a little bit kookier. It's a little bit more interesting to me. Number 3 is you are saving money for a vacation. You open a spending account and deposit $300 in April. In April. So we have $300. If we were trying to look at this as a sequence, we can write down the sequence. Right now we have $300, and this is in April. This is our first month. So A1 is equal to $300. Look at us go. We already have the first part that we wanted. We're going to also look for part D for our common difference in a second. But let's continue. In our sequence, we have 300 in April. In May, we have 350. And in June, we have 400. We can see that our common difference here is 50 because we're going up by 50 each time. So D is equal to 50. Now that we've figured this out, we are also looking at something that is really nice for us because we get to see it in a way that we have always seen all of our sequences if we write it this way. You by no means have to write it this way. How upsetting. Where'd it go? You by no means have to write it this way. However, it is very helpful to be able to see your sequence. Now, let's continue. Write our explicit formula. Remember, our explicit formula is a of n is equal to a minus a1 plus n minus 1 times d. We can plug in what we know. We have a of n is equal to 300 plus n minus 1 times 50, which is our d variable. Now that we're there, we can simplify. To simplify, we take the original that we have, and we're going to distribute that 50 to the n minus 1. We get 300 plus 50n minus 50. Adding my like terms, I get 50n plus 250 for my a of n simplified. This is my explicit formula simplified. So I have a of n is equal to 50n plus 250. Now part D, as we know, part D will always have n is equal to that number. This is part C. I apologize. Part C is always going to be n is equal to the number that's given. Here it says, how much money will you deposit in December? So instead of a number that's given to me, I'm given December, and I have to convert this into the number. We know that December is a 12th month out of the year. However, we did not start in January for our deposits. Our deposits started in April. If you use your fingers to count from April to December, you'll find that n is going to be equal to 9 because April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, and December. That is 9 months if you count the month of April. So n is going to be equal to 9. So we're going to plug that in. Since we know n is 9, we're going to plug that in to our formula. A of, not n, but 9. A of 9 is equal to 50 times 9 plus 250. 50 times 9 is 450 plus 250 is 700. Is it 800? No, let's find out. 450 plus 250. It is 800. Oops. Beautiful. This is $800 in the month of December. So this is A of 9 is equal to 800. And then for our units, it is a $sign. Part D will always be the number that is given to us is equal to the simplified, because we know that the number that is given here is for our month. It is a of n. It is a of n is equal to 600. I am trying to find what n is equal to, because it is a question right now. It is what my unknown is. So if I set 600, if I set 600 equal to 50n plus 250, we can solve for n. I'm going to subtract 250 on both sides. I will get 350 is equal to 50n. Now I divide 50 on both sides. I see a form of 1. The zeros cancel out. 35 divided by 5 is 7. 7 is equal to n here. So 7 is equal to n, which is important to us. And we know if I were to plug this n into here, it should be a of 7 is equal to 600. This is all true. This is all you need to know for this exam for our word problems and how to create the simplified version of our explicit formula. It is very important to note that our explicit formula is something that we have to know on our own. We must do that, and we must memorize that before our test, because it will not be given to you during the test. A of n is equal to a1 plus n minus 1 times d. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. That is all we need to know. That's